So if you've already got a laser, or you're thinking of buying a laser to start up a little business on the side, or you just want to make some money and recoup some of your investment, this could well be the idea for you. And in essence, you're going to offer a service of engraving images of people's pets onto a piece of slate. It's dead simple, really, really quick and easy, limited outlay if you've already got your laser. So to make this happen, you need to set yourself up a little shop on a medium such as Etsy. Etsy's free to start. You only need to start paying as soon as you start selling. So a little Etsy shop, loads of videos out there about how to set up the shop, dead simple. I'll leave links below in the description where you can buy the slate too. Pick yourself up some slate. Your initial outlay is going to be about 20 or 30 quid. You'll need to download a piece of free software. The software I use is called Gimp. Again, there'll be a link to it below, and I'll walk you through exactly what you need to do to cut the image out, make it ready to put into your laser burning software, and I'll show you what settings to put in place so that you can burn your image, make your slate and send it off to the customer. And this is already proven. I recommended this to a friend of mine, and they've been doing it since last year and doing very well indeed out of it. So in this video, I'm going to be using the xTool laser and xTool Creative Space, but you can use any laser from a 5 watt upwards. The more powerful the laser, the quicker you're going to be able to engrave out the images and fulfill more orders. But like I say, any laser will do. So let's get started. Open up Gimp. From the file menu, click on new. Now you're going to get a create new image window appear. I've got my image size set to 1920 by 1080 pixels. So choose the same on yours and click OK. You're going to be looking at a set of light grey and dark grey boxes, and that just means that it's a transparent background. Now you want to go to the place where you saved your file, the image that the customer sent you or the image that you've downloaded from Google, and you want to just drag and drop it onto that transparent background. Now I've found a wonderful free image of a Rhodesian ridgeback, apparently. Didn't even know there was such a dog, but that's what I found. You're going to be working with whatever the customers sent you or whatever you've chosen to download. This is a wonderful picture and a wonderful puppy dog because it's short-haired. Therefore, the outside line that I need to follow to get the image away from the background is really, really simple. But I'll show you on a long-haired dog in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is enlarge the picture so it matches the size of the background. To do that, I'm going to go and choose the scale tool. So I'll click on it once with my mouse, select the picture, and then using these squares, these are the handles, I'll put the mouse cursor over the square, click and hold down the mouse button, and then drag it up to approximately the size of the background. We don't have to be bang on exact. And once I'm happy with the size, I'm going to click on the scale button on the floating window, and that'll disappear, and I've got the image to a reasonable size. As I just mentioned, what I want to do is to cut the dog out of the background. I don't want to burn the background onto the slate. I just want the puppy dog. So on the menu, I'm going to choose the free select tool, and then I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard, and I'm going to scroll in until I get to the point where I'm close enough to be able to draw around the image. But if I go in too close, it's going to blur it quite a bit, and we don't have to be that exact. So I'll scroll in a little bit again. One thing I'm going to mention just before I start drawing around the dog is the dog's feet are covered by the grass, and you're quite likely to get that from a customer, an image sent into you. So I'm going to just draw around the bottom. I'm going to capture a bit of that grassy background just to reinforce the fact that the dog stood on something. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to start about here. Now remember, I've got the free select tool selected, so I'm going to scroll into the level that I want it to, and then I'm going to click, and as soon as I click and let go of the mouse button, you can see that it's left a little dot behind, and we've got a little line that connects the mouse to the dot that I've made. Now from this point onwards, each time I move the mouse and click the mouse button, it's going to put another dot in, and it'll leave that line, the length of line that I've drawn with the mouse, between the two dots. The longer the lines, the more blocky the picture is going to make. Ideally, you want to create short little moves between mouse button clicks so that you get tiny little lines, and then when you scroll out, it'll show the outline of the puppy dog or the animal nice and smoothly, and you won't get any sharp corners or little blocky bits. Okay, so that's great, really simple to follow, nice and easy. But what if you go wrong? I'm going to put a dot in the wrong place, sorry. Now to undo that, to go back, to remove that last wrongly placed dot, don't press undo, don't press Ctrl Z, just use the backspace key on the keyboard, and that will remove the last dot that you've placed in the wrong place, the last marker, and then you can continue as if you never made a mistake. So I'm going to draw that, following those rules all the way around the outline of the puppy dog, and I'll speed this up, otherwise you'll be sat here watching me draw this for the next 6 or 7 minutes. So I've got down to roughly about level with the place that I started to. So what I'm going to do now is just draw around the bottom of the puppy dog and capture some of this base area, just to show that the puppy dog is stood on something. Now that last click, you noticed when I hovered over the first dot that I made, I should have said this before, sorry, it turned orange yellow, and if you click on it, it will join the whole shape up, and it will start to shimmer as it is, or flash, and that means that the whole thing is now joined up. It's one complete shape. So what we need to do now is to go up to the select menu, click on select, and choose invert, and that will select everything outside of the shape that you've just drawn. Then go to the edit menu and click clear, and what we've essentially done is told Gimp to delete everything outside of the shape that we've just made. If the area that's just been deleted on yours has been replaced with a color, then that means you don't have an alpha channel within the image. So if you right click on the layer and choose add alpha channel, and then go back up to edit and hit clear, then the background will be cleared and you'll have a transparent background, the same as I've got on the screen now. So we've still got to get rid of this area here. So what I'm going to do is go back to the select menu and choose none to get rid of the selection, and then I'm going to re-choose the free select tool again and zoom back in on the puppy dog, because I want to get rid of the area in between his legs. So I'll zoom in again, and again I'll speed this up because I'm going to do exactly the same as I've just shown you. So from about the same level, but this time we're not going to invert the selection because we want to delete the area that we've just drawn around. So I'm just going to go up to the edit menu and then click clear, and that's that area gone. And once again select none before you redraw around the next bit. And we're finished. So the last thing I'm going to do is click on the file menu, click save. I'm going to save it to my PC. After I've saved it, I'm going to go back to the file menu, and then I'm going to click export, and I'm going to export this as a BMP. So I'm going to delete PNG as the file extension. I'm going to type BMP. I'm going to give it a name, 𝑨𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒔, and save it in a place that I can get to, so I can drag that file into my chosen laser software. So click the export button once you've named it, accept the defaults, and hit export. And that's it, we're done in Gimp. Now we're going to go over to xTool Creative Space. So now for the easy bit, into xTool Creative Space. So you need to import your image that you've just exported from Gimp. Open that up in xTool, and if you get this image saying it's this window saying it's too large, then just choose original size. So there is our beautiful looking 𝑨𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒔. So the first thing I'm going to do is edit this image and get rid of this white space all around the puppy dog. So if I go to edit and then go to crop and then draw a much tighter box around the puppy dog, that'll do, and save that. Now we haven't got all of that useless white space all around the dog. I've got one of my placemat slate tiles already loaded into the laser, and I'm using the little magnetic clips as a standoff. I don't need to hold it down, it's got plenty of weight to keep it in place. I just want to make sure I can put the next ones, if I'm going to batch them out, in exactly the same place. Now I strongly recommend when you go to burn your image for the first time, until you get used to this, that you resize it, scale it down nice and small, so you can keep one slate for test burning. So I'm going to reduce that down to approximately what I think it needs to be. Then I'm going to go and set my laser up. So I'll choose my material. Stone coaster is the closest that I can get to it. And the next thing we're going to do is set the focal point of the laser. Once we've got our focal point set, then we can start marking the work area. So I'll choose rectangle, move the laser head to the back left corner, press the button, move the laser to the front right corner, press the button, click end marking, and done. And that's the total work area that we've got. I'm going to do a test burn with this one. So I'm going to pop it in that corner there. So I'm going to be burning an image of size 64-65 wide, 76 tall, which means I can get plenty on this one tile. So if I now select my image, I can tell the laser how I want it to treat the image, and the first thing I want to do is invert the image. When we're burning on to slate, we need to work with an inverted image because it's going to come out the opposite to the way we think. So the darker I make it on the screen, the heavier it's going to burn into the slate, the lighter it's going to end up on the slate. You'll see what I mean in a tick. So I'm going to leave the default exactly as it is for now so that you can see exactly what it's going to do. I'll close the lid on my laser. I'm going to hit frame just to make sure it's going to burn it where I think it's going to burn out. Looks good. And we'll hit process and run this test burn. It's not come out too bad, but I think we can do better. We've lost some detail around the right hand side of the face there. If you remember, the light source was coming from the left hand side, so we want to try and duplicate that, reflect that, pun not intended. So let's go back to xTool, creative space, reselect our image, and let's adjust this bottom grayscale number. Let's try that. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to get a feel for it as you do a few, and it's really not going to take you very long at all. That's looking a lot better. Let's move our puppy dog across somewhere about there. Run this one. I think version 2 is a massive improvement. Just making that little tweak has given us a lot more depth to the image and a lot more detail as well. The one on the left just looks overexposed. The one on the right, I think, is a great improvement, and we could probably tweak that even more. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm more than happy with that. So let's burn the full-size image. That's come out so much better, far more detail in the puppy dog. I think I could have, and if this was for a customer, I would have tried to lighten this side a little bit more to get a bit more detail there, just by playing around with the slider. So the last thing we're going to do, just to make this really pop, is to spray it with a bit of satin finish lacquer. And it instantly transforms it into something that looks like it's been screen printed. Superb. So there you have it. That might seem like an awful lot of detail, but trust me, once you've had a few practice runs, you're going to be able to knock them out really, really quick. The amount of time is going to take you in Gimp, after a bit of practice, 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes. And then the rest of the time is just the laser doing its job, so you can walk away and do something else. Really worth a try. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you'll give it a go. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time. Ta-ra.